even by West Ham standards, I think it's fair to say that this week has been pretty shocking. I mean, really unbelievable, some of the things that have been coming out of the football club. I was taken by surprise by quite a fair bit of it. The main one being the Mark Noble situation. I'm really stunned by what's happened. So, and then there's obviously the Mikel Antonio comments as well going in this week, which have not gone down too well. Although we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit. But first of all, I want to talk about the Mark Noble situation. So it's a strange one in that this week, ex-WHU employee, he heard about this in the evening, I believe on the evening of the Wednesday, I believe it was, that Mark Noble had handed his resignation into the football club. That was the talk that was going on, that the player, our former captain, had decided he's had enough already. 3 weeks into his job, by the way, 3 weeks, has decided he's had enough. And this, I believe this is in relation to his role. He doesn't like the situation of what say he's got, which probably doesn't sound like it's a lot by all accounts. Not quite sure. And I believe it's just centered around the transfer. Danny Ings might have been a key part of that. I don't know that for certain, but I believe that is the case. And then West Ham have effectively tried to brush it all under the carpet. No, it's fine, not a problem. We're going to speak to Mark, and then they've pretty much put out not an official statement, but leaked it through to certain people, including the West Ham Way with ex-WH employee. The things are okay. Actually, it's not a problem. We've had a bit of a heart-to-heart, and it's all now sorted, and we're going to move forward in a positive manner. And that's what we reported, and that is what I believe to be the case. Now, that is really worrying. I mean, the fact that you've got a West Ham legend, a huge West Ham figure, someone that bleeds claret and blue, has been with the club his whole life, dying to get back into the football club, has now been given a sporting director role. He's willing to leave, willing to walk away after 3 weeks. Now, yes, he's still here, so we have to sort of take that into account, but that really does ring alarm bells. That really does scream that there are massive problems at West Ham, huge problems. If someone of his stature and someone who's got that love for the football club, like us, a fan, imagine you being given a role. You know, you're going to be the sporting director of West Ham, and then a few weeks in, you think, this ain't for me. That says a lot. For me, that really says a lot. That says a lot about what's going on behind the scenes. It kind of says what we've always known in a way, that our ownership and whatever's going on behind the scenes is a mess. It's a shambles. And it has been for a long time. We know that. And that, for me, this just totally confirms that. It's really bad. I actually think it's telling of where we are at the moment as a football club. I actually can't believe, I was thinking about this earlier today before I recorded this, that it's less than a year ago that we were playing Lyon, that we won 3-0 in that game. And I genuinely, like every West Ham fan, walked away thinking, we're there, we're finally establishing ourselves. We're finally, getting to a place where we want to be. And it just felt like everything was going right for us. And, less than a year later, I mean, it's hard to even think of something that's going right for West Ham at the moment. I genuinely can't think of anything. The academy seems we seem to be losing players left, right and centre. We can't retain anybody. We've got a captain that wants to leave. We had a World Cup where he publicly said that he pretty much wanted to go. I appreciate that it was slightly taken a little bit out of context because of the question, but still, it was so not needed at the time, not what we wanted to hear. We know that he's going to be departing. That seems to be, all but certain. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm actually getting to the stage where I actually want that to happen because I think that's just a distraction we don't need. But the Mark Noble one was really bad, really, really worrying. I genuinely felt that when having Mark back would lift the mood. X and Dave have been talking about it on the podcast and been saying rightly so. Look, since Mark's come back, the results have actually not been too bad this year. If you really look at it, it's not been too bad. And for him then to be wanting to walk out of the football club, yes, he's still here, I know, but let's be honest. If he's willing to want to walk away after 3 weeks, I mean, they're kind of denying this. I think the club, don't forget, are actually trying to deny that this has happened and really trying to brush it and kick it down, into the long grass and pretend it's not happened. Don't worry about it. But it has happened. It did happen. There's no smoke without fire. X reported that and used that term. There's no smoke without fire with this. At the end of the day, something's not gone right. And yes, they might have sat down and yes, they may have shook hands and said, fine, let's move forward. But that spells to me that Mark's day is already numbered. Like, I can't see him being here very, very long now, because if he's willing to walk away or at least air some issues that he's got with the football club that he's not happy after less than a month in the job, you do wonder how long he's going to be at the football club, which is really, really worrying and very sad that is the case. And then we've then got more drama at West Ham. Not only have we got the injuries, Danny Ings out, and it looks like he's going to be out for a period of weeks, although David Moyes did say today that injections have been given to Danny and they're hoping he's going to be back very quickly. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I haven't spoken to X, I haven't seen his updates, so I don't really know. But it sounds like it might be a little bit better than what it was, but I'm not holding my breath. But again, it's just typical West Ham. It's been a real, kick in the gut, considering the fact we just signed the player and straight away he's picked up an injury. It just seems to be going from bad to worse at West Ham. It really does. It just every day we can't catch a break. And then we've got our striker, Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio, who comes out publicly and says that he wants to leave the club effectively. Well, not so much he wants to leave the club. That's not true. I'm going down the wrong path here. He didn't say he wants to leave. He's basically saying, well, let's get it right. He said a couple of weeks ago that he wasn't happy at the football club. He wasn't happy with the season. He wasn't happy with the scenario, the situation with Scamacca, he'd said previously. And now he's also said that he wasn't very happy with the tactics and the way things are shaping up, that it wasn't working. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's right. He's bloody right. But you don't say that publicly. We don't want to hear this. It doesn't make us look good. It just causes issues. It just shows a disrespect to what's going, your teammates and also the manager. I know that people have got a frustration with Moyes. I know that, and I'm one of them. But at the end of the day, he's the boss, and show some respect. If you've got issues with the tactics, talk about it behind the scenes and have your conversations, amongst the playing staff. You don't start going publicly on BBC podcasts and saying it, you're unhappy and annoyed with the way we're setting up and things. I just don't think it helps. It really doesn't. Really, really frustrating that. And then he's now come out again on the same podcast and now saying that basically, there's a chance I'm going to be leaving. There is a chance. And don't get me wrong, we put out an article earlier and Dave Walker commented on the situation. He said that he was frustrated with the comments, disappointed with it, and he could have worded it better. And I agree with that. He could have done. Although I will say that Mick did say some good things as well. He did sort of say that he'd loved his time at the club. He wouldn't change for anything, and if he had to stay, it wouldn't be a problem. All that kind of stuff. But again, the problem is with it, it's throwing doubt in a situation that we don't need. We don't need Mikel Antonio saying there's a chance I'm going to be leaving. We don't. I mean, these players are trained at this. They know what to say, what not to say. I'm sure that they're very well prepped in terms of what they can and can't disclose. The club aren't going to let them just go and do a podcast and say what you want. But it feels like he's kind of done that anyway. But at the same time, you're thinking, why say that? Like, this is not what we need as a football club. We don't need any more noises that are bringing negativity, because this is no good. There's no good can come of this. Saying that you want to leave the club or there's a chance you're going to leave only just throws more issues the manager's way, the fans' way. There are so many problems at West Ham at the moment. I don't even really know where to begin. It's a real worrying time for West Ham, and they really do need. I do know football can change fast. We've already said, look at where we were less than a year ago. We were in Lyon doing amazing and all these kind of things, and and we're in Europe still. So there are still things to be optimistic about a little bit. But let's be honest, it does feel like every day at the moment. I mean, this week alone has been unbelievable. It really has felt like every single day there's been a real kick in the gut in terms of every West Ham fan. Always some bad news that we have to deal with. I mean, we've got the constant speculation of Declan Rice. I mean, we can go into that. I'm going to talk about another video at some stage regarding Declan. I do try not to talk about the situation with Rice too much, really. That's mainly because of I just feel that it's not doing anyone any favours. I don't want to keep talking about it. And let's be honest, it's all there in the press anyway. But it's not helping. There's constant speculation around his future. We just need a bit of stability at the club. I think I'll tell you what I think we'd need would be it'd be nice to see some bigger players commit themselves to the club going forward. A Jared Bowen, for instance, to say, I'm going to sign a longer term deal and just show a bit of stability. Because at the moment, I don't know how you feel. And please leave your comments. I'll do read them, and it is interesting to see how you all feel about this. But it does feel that maybe I'm wrong, that most players just want to seem to get out of the football club at the moment. No one seems happy. There's no happiness around that club at the moment. I don't see any enjoyment, It's really a really troubling time and really worrying. And the Mark Noble thing is obviously the one that's the key in all of this week. That's really, really, for me, shook the foundations. You really start thinking, wow, this is a big, big problem. I'm obviously delighted that they've managed to sort it for the time being. I mean, my God, we really need that at least to stay. Need him to stay to at least the end of the season, because I mean that would be the nail in the coffin for Mark Noble to walk away from the club. I mean, can you imagine the uproar? Imagine what it would do to the fan base and ourselves. I mean, we'd be in disarray. It would just and the anger that would go towards the board, and the fact that they're putting Mark in this position isn't good. It's really worrying. But there are still things to be a little bit optimistic about, I guess. We've still got European football on the horizon. And let's be honest, if we can get ourselves together, we've got a good chance of that competition. We do have a good chance. Although I will admit, with the situation in the Premier League, I'm already starting to sort of turn my attention away from it. I hope that by the time March does roll round, we are in a bit better form and we can start attacking that tournament and giving it a go, because we need something to cheer about. I will say I don't think we'll go down. I still don't think we'll go down. I'm worried. I don't think it's going to be a very good season. I do think we're going to be in this battle for a while. I don't think we're going to just pull away and start getting, winning 3 or 4 games on the spin and suddenly find ourselves 10th. I just can't see that happening. I think most people would agree. But I still do believe we've got enough there. We've got enough in the tank to get away from it. The manager's situation isn't helping because we don't really know what's going on there. Sean Dyche is now about to sign his deal for Everton, which I suspected, to be honest, all along that he was going to go there. But it's a blow. That's a blow for West Ham, big blow, because I like Sean Dyche and I think he'll do a good job at Everton. I really do. I think he'll get them out of that situation. I don't think they're going to fly away. I don't think they're going to suddenly do an Aston Villa and win every week. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to find it hard still. But he's got the determination, the grit, and he'll just inject that work rate, that fight. I genuinely felt he would have done a good job at West Ham if that was the choice. I don't want Benitez. I've got to be honest. It doesn't fill me with any excitement if Moyes is to go. The way, let's be honest, is shaping up at the moment, that Moyes is going to remain in at the moment. It just feel that the club are just still hedging their bets with Moyes. They're just sitting there going, no, he is going to be the man to stay. But my word, this is a real dire situation for West Ham. We're in real troubled waters and we need to get this sorted out. Thank God there's no Premier League football this weekend. It's nice to have a little bit of a break from it. At least we've got the FA Cup and hopefully something to cheer about, because yes, it's Derby County. Yes, it's the FA Cup. And yes, let's be honest, we've got bigger fish to fry at the moment than an FA Cup tournament. But it would lift the mood. Another victory would be great. It'd be nice to get a decent performance, get a good result. If I was David Moyes personally, I'd put out a relatively strong side, give the chance of some players to inject some more confidence. The likes of Bowen, the Paquetas, people like to play well, put in a good showing and get a decent result, because Newcastle away after that in the Premier League is a crucial match for West Ham. We are in that territory now. We're in that territory where the games coming up, even the ones that you look at and think, you wouldn't expect us to get something there, you look at and think, well, we've got to. We now have to, because of the games we've got left. We've got to go and get something in Newcastle. We've got to go and get at least a point. We can't afford to lose any more games. We've then got Chelsea at home. And I dare I say it, the way Chelsea have been this season, that's got to be considered a must-win for West Ham. We really need to win that game. We need to start getting some points on the board fast. And who knows, maybe we will. But yeah, it's been a tough week.